Go.
All right.
Recording again.
All right.
See, look, off air, and that's the show. Well, we should be back, though. So, no freaking out. Rick and Mark in Tampa. Oh, Tampa.
Uh-oh.
Mark in Tampa.
We love
Who
Tampa.
lives in Tampa?
We love Tampa. Tell me if
City,
people can
where the
still hear
Improv
us and
is.
see us.
That's where the Improv's at.
Can
Is
people
it?
still
Yeah.
see us and hear us?
Yeah, they can still see us and hear us.
Somebody tell me if you can see or hear me. Tell me what is my life without your love, and who am I without you by my side?
Bam, bam. So is there a rule like we're not allowed to sing with you? Because when anybody's singing, I have a really hard time not singing, I guess.
I just think that when we do the "Don't Stop Me Now" thing,
Yeah.
you really got to get out of my way and let me do my thing. I just
Let me stretch.
You got to let me do my thing.
Yeah.
In the back of my head, I'm
You should
thinking.
play the music while you
know,
do
it's
it.
funny when I was there at the Regular Guys. You ever hear of that show?
The Ray, or the
It
what?
was
The Ray.
wildly
regulated?
popular for a while.
You should do. I'm telling you, you should do all of those things that were popular, like the video heat.
I don't
and
remember
the-
doing that.
Man,
People
that was
tell me
funny.
about that. I don't even remember doing it.
Because eventually it just, like
It was like video
disintegrated
heat
into
or
just
something like that.
video heat. You know,
Yeah.
do it
I know. I remember
small.
doing it, but I don't remember what it sounded like.
There were some other
I
ones
can't
too.
remember
don't
what I
know.
was gonna
Oh,
say.
salesman.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I was going to say, "Don't Stop Me Now." With the Regular Guys, I told because Brandy would surprise me with it because I never wanted to.
Right.
It's just if I know something's coming, it sucks. So she would surprise me with it. And at one point, I said, "You know what? Let's just stop doing that. It's played out. People have got to be annoyed." And it turned out to be. I couldn't have been more tone deaf on it. I cannot understand why people enjoy hearing me sing that song.
I
But they
think
do.
because you're putting out so much energy, like you're being so
Yeah.
silly. And
Well,
so
I
it's fun to
remember
see you be
I
silly.
had the album Live Killers, Queen Live Killers, in the summer of 1980. So I was 15, 16. And when everybody else would go to work, I would put that album on and I would like put on a show with that album on. I thought it was the greatest thing in life. So I kind of go back and get to that mind of, I think it started with, let me entertain you. And
Do
then
that
we
again.
go to
Do that again. The last line.
Let me entertain you.
Hear the echo from here.
Yeah.
We don't have headphones on, so we're not privy to any of this. Do we have a few more questions? Then we can wrap this up, and maybe we'll tie them together. I guess they'll show up as two.
Hopefully.
No.
Hopefully it doesn't record over
It's
the other
not
one.
gonna. How is it gonna record this? Like, it's
You
not
never-
tape.
because sometimes these things don't know how to differentiate between them. Oh, it's got the same name. I don't know what to do. Record over.
Right.
Wouldn't it just
They're
naturally
not
go
thinking
like,
yet.
Oh, one.
The computers aren't thinking
Yeah,
yet.
the
Oh,
algorithm.
that's what you think.
All right, well, we'll find out.
Apparently, I don't know the backstory to this one. So, on the Regular Guys, Larry was off one day. Steve threatened to hit you. The show ended, and Steve was gone for a week.
Yeah,
What happened?
he didn't threaten to hit me.
Oh, okay.
So Larry was gone for a few days, and we were having great shows because when Larry was gone,
Yeah.
oh God, it was just so great. You know, when Larry's there, when you get to a commercial, I would leave the studio every single commercial and come back in with like 20 seconds left to go, just not to deal with whatever was going on. And some would stay, most others would go. But when Larry was gone for the week, we just stayed in the studio and we had fun and we laughed and we kind of took that on. I don't know how people, if they liked the shows or they didn't like the shows. Well, we had one or two great shows. We were like, oh, we got one more show without Larry. Let's have some fun. And Steve was late. So we start the show without Steve, and we're kind of making fun of Steve, as we would every day. And Seabass said something in the joke. It was about, he's a racist or something, but it was a joke. And it wasn't the first time that joke was ever done. It was just a joke. Okay. And Steve shows up, and we're just like laughing and having fun. And he walks in, just big time fucking redneck move, just I'm a man. It's like, it doesn't matter what's going on inside this room. I got an agenda. And he just storms in, drops his shit, walks right over to Seabass and threatens to beat the hell out of him. because he's not a racist. That's what I heard that coming in. So, which means that, his girl or somebody was he got some news about the bar going into the shitter. And so he brought that out on us. But he came in with such an attitude. It was so weird that we all freaked out.
Right.
I mean, thank goodness he didn't have a gun. There was that kind of feeling. It was weird.
Wow.
It was like, I've never met this guy before. The great thing is, your ex-lover, Tim Andrews, who's supposed to be the producer of the show, was the first one to leave. I mean, literally. I said, let's put on a best of and figure this out. And I left the room thinking, I'm going to leave and we're going to let a few minutes go by. And we're going to come back in here. We're going to regroup and we're going to see if we can do this live. I went to the conference room to get away from Steve because he was freaking me out. And by the time I came back, Tim Andrews was gone. The producer was gone. So I thought, okay, well, this is done. Just keep playing best of. And Steve followed me around and he was trying to rationalize. And I remember I turned to him in the hallway and I said, Steve, I disagree with you and you're really kind of freaking me out right now. So please just, it was weird. It was very weird. He was this sort of look in the devil in his eyes. And so it was just weird. And that was one thing about that show is people would just show up and decide not to be professional. Mm-hmm. Your ex-lover, Tim Andrews, I mean, he walked off the show at least 6 times in that 6 years. I've never, get a room. I've never, ever walked off the show. I mean, as mad as Larry, and you've been there. You've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go to a break and just be in each other's face, screaming at each other. And I thought the greatest thing about being a professional is you go back on the air, you start joking, you start whatever. I mean, I kind of loved that to a certain degree, just to be professional like that. And I never walked off a show, and it got really intense at times. Jesus, Michael?
Should I step out?
He's allergic to
What are you allergic to?
interesting conversation.
Apparently. So, go get yourself a. Here, I got water.
He's gonna cough for a minute.
He never walked somebody else. First walk off.
Look at that. He just walked off the show as if he did not even hear my point. So people would do that from time to time, and Larry would show up in really bizarre moods sometimes, and just, I told you he chased me out of at least in the last year and a half. What's he doing now?
He's blowing his nose.
The last year and a half, he would 3 times. Larry chased me out of the studio, threatening to kick my ass, and and I just thought, wow, we're doing a comedy show. This is weird.
Yeah.
But I was the only one not on meds. I was the only one that didn't take meds. So these people,
Eric doesn't like meds.
If they got,
He doesn't take.
No, I like recreational meds.
Self-prescribed.
There's a particular happy pill that I've gravitated toward, and I've been prescribed it. So now I'm not on meds, but these guys were always, and if they got their meds wrong or something, geez, I don't know what Larry was on, but when he didn't take his pill, good God, it was just bizarre. So
it is weird that they wouldn't see that being professional would be advantageous for them,
Right.
for the group.
Right.
Well,
For Larry
the
was
dynamic for everyone getting along afterward, like morale, nothing.
That's what I would argue to Larry all the time, but he would.
What can you do if you don't get along,
if he thought that there was like a weakness going on in the news jog or something like that, rather than in an improvised way, like when you're improvising, you throw somebody a line. Let's get back in line here together and make this happen. He'd be like, "Oh no, I can hang him out to dry, and the audience will see that I'm better than him."
Right.
And my argument was always, well, it doesn't help the show. It doesn't help the show. You shouldn't care why people like the show. You should only want numbers. I used to always make the Beatles analogy. Some people liked Paul, some liked John. There were those who liked George. There were even
Nobody
those.
liked Ringo.
Some actually even liked Ringo and threw jelly bellies at him. My point was this: who cares how they get in the door? Mm-hmm. All the money went to the Beatles, and I was not heard in that. Larry was like, I want to be the reason people listen, and I'm really not interested in a show where that's not the reason.
It really was like a marriage. You guys were together at first, and things were great, and then things just grew apart. Like
that's right.
Ideas
I'm
about
married,
how things should go.
If you think about it, I met Larry a year after I met my wife, so I had 2 marriages, and one is still going well.
I'm going to debunk that theory. Gene and Julie, hosts on Light FM here in Atlanta years ago. Yeah. Married, loved each other, never fought. Greatest show ever. At least in the hallways. After the show, they would still walk hand in hand.
No, he's saying greatest
No,
love ever. Their show got canceled.
No, yeah.
It wasn't a
but
good
I'm
show.
talking about working together.
Right.
Oh no, I'm not saying that you can't work together. I'm just saying that it was like a marriage that went bad, but instead of like,
It was
well,
like
instead of just like let's separate because we
Right.
can't stand each other. Oh no, we're making so much money.
The
we
money,
have to stay together.
The money was the kids, right? We
Yeah.
stayed together for the kids.
Exactly.
We stayed together for the money.
Yeah, and then what can you do? I mean, you have to work it out. But if one person's not really willing
You're just
to,
deficient human beings, is what I'm saying. There is a perfect model out there. Just,
Just
to
we
being
could
a
have. We should have
person.
taken our cues from Gene and Julie.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You should have stocked up on turtlenecks, black
Mm-hmm.
turtlenecks, and
pastels.
I want to bring back the turtleneck, but that's a whole different thing. We're
like
way
the
over
captain.
time, so let's try to get a good. Are we way over time? I feel like we're way over time.
we're way over time.
How many people hate these guys?
Sorry.
How many people hate these guys?
Nobody hates. Someone wants to know if Amber,
Oh, I always get Amber. Always.
You
It's
kind of
Rick
look
again.
like an Amber.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Amber, are you lactating through your shirt?
No, not yet.
Jesus.
Am I? No.
That's just sweat.
Pulling
Is it-
punches on this first
Am I
first
sweating?
test
No, I'm
run.
good. No, not yet. I'm not lactating yet. I do kind of squeeze my boobs sometimes to see if a little milk will come
You've
out,
never
but
gotten.
nothing,
You've never gotten a drop.
Not yet.
You think that's a good question to end with, or do you want one more?
I'd like a real one, but I would like to ask this: your husband, Travis, great fellow. I was at the wedding.
The best.
Prematurely gray, strange dude. Just
When
like
he was 16,
30.
I think.
Yeah, he looks like
He's
Phil
28.
Donahue.
My uncle was 19, went white, was completely white.
Yeah, that's how her
like
husband is.
1920. is what
It's
I was told.
awesome.
Yeah.
Ladies in grocery stores come up to him like, "I love your hair, so handsome." Like,
Really?
touch him.
Two questions.
Yeah.
Down there, what's the situation?
Beautiful auburn brown.
Okay. Why does that happen?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it? We had a conversation about this on one of the test shows. Why does it take longer
No,
for the?
no, because what we read was, well, that hair doesn't come in until
Oh, you're like
12
13 or
years,
something.
13 years after you've been alive. But the same goes for a beard.
Right,
for
and the
example.
beard goes gray at the same time.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you know
Something
how
to do with
sometimes,
gravity. Stays down. Yeah.
But yeah, like
Lack of
sometimes
sunlight?
you're. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lack of
Not for
sunlight.
me.
There's no basis to that.
Should stay off ponds.
Wow, what if that's what it is? I wonder if it's lack of sunlight.
But you know how like some people with
Can't be.
like.
Hold on,
maybe-
before you speak, I want to put that out there. If anybody knows why, this is driving me crazy, why your pubes don't go gray when your beard does and your hair does, I would like to know.
It's a totally different hair.
No, it's.
Oh,
it's
you
the
mean
same.
different than your beard? It's different. It's the same as your beard, I guess.
Hair is hair.
No, it's
I
different.
mean, if something happens in your body that's going to change the
no,
color.
no, no. Your hair here is like
All right,
more
I don't care.
cylindrical,
I
and
don't
that
care.
hair is all
I don't
kinky
care.
and weird.
I don't. That would be, I'm not even going to
Don't
get into the race
exist on
thing.
me. I
Kinky.
keep it clean.
I was going to ask you another question about Travis.
Yeah.
I can't remember what
You're
it is.
forever known as Amber, by the way. Even people know your name's Autumn.
My whole life since I was in kindergarten, people have called me Amber.
And when
I don't know
she's
why.
not pregnant, she is so hot.
I'm super hot now.
Okay, 2 minutes. This
Okay,
is a
wait.
quiz.
What did you ask? What do you want to ask?
I can't remember the other question. I went off on a rat hole thing about Travis's hair,
and
and I was going to ask you a
talking about my boobs.
question.
You're talking about
Oh,
the
would
sex.
he be the type of husband? And I have a buddy who tried this because he had like 4 boys in 3 years. Literally, they were just popping them out that fast. He said that he was curious, and he stirred a little bit of his lady's milk into his coffee. And he goes, "You know what? Wasn't bad." Would Travis? No, I would never do that in a million years. But
No.
would Travis ever try that?
I have asked him like, will you please try my breast milk at some point? And he said no.
Good. He's a good man.
But I've tried my cousin's breast milk.
We should have opened with that.
It was sweet.
Well,
It was
I
sweet.
can.
We have a name for this
the name of my
episode.
first
I've tried my cousin's.
The name of
breast
my
It
milk.
wasn't
first
straight
comedy
from
album.
the source or anything. You know?
Oh, you.
Oh, then what's the point?
Wow.
She was from across the room.
I was going to say you ruined the fantasy, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You just somehow at the end just accelerated
You
it.
figured it out.
Turned
to
into an
make it
Olympic
not
thing.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were you gonna say, Greg?
Well, since we were talking about food items, one of the very first questions, this is going to be the last one. Did you really stir a vat of ranch dressing with your arm when you worked in a restaurant?
Man, people remember everything.
That's going to be the last question. It comes full circle.
The answer is yes. I did. I was.
Vat of ranch dressing.
I worked at
But
Mr.
you don't,
Steak.
you don't make a little ranch dressing. You got to
No.
make it big
It was
enough for
homemade,
the
I
weekend.
guess.
Well, I was prep cook at Mr. Steak in Brighton,
Mr. Steak.
Brighton, New York. And by the way, it's where I met the group of people that are still my friends now. I was 19, I think, when I got a job there. The circle of people who've been through me through my, the people I started Spilt Milk with, and just that all those comedy buddies and everything. We all met at this place called Mr. Steak in Brighton, New York, which is just kind of a town next to Rochester, New York, down Monroe Avenue. And so I was the prep cook, and it was a Friday afternoon. You got to get ready for the rush. So we used to make blue cheese in an actual garbage pail. It was never used for garbage.
Right.
It was and there was a paddle that we had to mix it, because it was, you get all the crumbles in there and the mayonnaise, and you get it all, a lot of that sound.
Yeah.
Get it all in there. And there was a paddle, and for some reason I couldn't find the paddle, and I was close to the end of my shift. I would prepare everybody for the Friday night, and then I would book home like 5:00, and there was no paddle. I just pulled up my sleeve, made a fist.
A fist?
I went to the fist so I could get to the bottom.
Oh.
Then I opened my fingers so I could mix all that blue cheese, get it, and I went right down in there, and then it was like this, just for like 5 minutes. And at the time, I thought, Eric Von Hessler, you're a doer. You are not a complainer. You don't wait for things. You make things happen. Then I got on the bus that would take me down Monroe Avenue to Park Avenue, it would take me to Meg's. Then I walked to Park Avenue. And on the bus ride, which I always stunk to high heaven because I wouldn't change before I was just like grease. On the bus ride, I thought to myself, I was like, I have a lot of hair on my arm. I wasn't thinking about it at the time. So I'm sure somebody.
I didn't think about that either.
Yeah,
There was no hose or like what decision? Like you had no foresight to go. This is the worst idea I've ever had. In my
I
life.
just went for it.
Like,
I got to get it done.
You're chest deep. Someone goes, "Oh, here's the pedal."
It wasn't the worst idea I ever had at work. The worst idea was when I was 15 years old and I worked as a busboy at Del Lago in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I had to go. They had at 10 o'clock. It turned into a discotheque, and it literally this was 1979. So it was a 5-star restaurant. That at 10 o'clock they moved some of the booze across, and it was a Saturday Night Fever dance floor.
Nice.
And they would always have a balloon drop, I think at midnight or whatever, and they would send a busboy or somebody up there about 10 o'clock to blow up the balloons. And I went up there one time and I blew up the balloons, and I was looking down at the people that were eating, and I said, "Hey, why not masturbate?" That was the worst. That was the worst thing I ever did while at work. All right, so on that note,
those balloons, they're making me real. My pants are starting
one of
to
those
feel funny.
balloons had a little something extra in there.
More of this for the morning show.
More of this sort of spermatozoa talk. That's the official name. This has been Ask Eric Anything 3, I believe. That is Autumn Fisher. She's fat, but she's pregnant, so give her a chance.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know my demand.
What?
I want you back in shape. I want you back in shape quick. I didn't hire you to be the fat chick. I hired Michael to be the fat chick. He's doing his part. He's just a big stocky fella.
I'm just naturally fat.
That's it. Michael Albert,
I'm not
you're not
fat,
pregnant.
I'm big appetite.
Yeah.
I'm just a big appetite.
You have a big appetite for life.
Absolutely.
Michael
Turn
Albanese.
anything down.
Hey, are you appearing anywhere? Maybe somebody's watching this thing.
Yeah,
Come
I'll
into
be at the Atlanta Improv Comedy Club in Buckhead, 56 East Andrews, in the East Andrews, or the Andrews Entertainment District, the Improv, with Moishe Kesher. Very
Ooh.
exciting.
Yes.
Very excited to see him.
Very funny.
What's your Twitter?
And Jacob
Give out the
Sirov.
Twitters.
Well, you guys know the young comedians. I'm not. I don't.
No, like my Twitter.
No, his Twitter, my Twitter,
Oh.
your Twitter.
Oh, put it out is what you're
Twitter,
saying.
yeah.
Toss it out there for
Yes,
the people.
get to know us.
Throw it out.
Are you having to host any of these Larry Wax shows at Improv?
We did one last week.
How'd that go?
It happened.
In a word, it was good. It was there.
Uh-oh, your voice
There's
went up.
room
People
to.
take that back.
There's room to grow.
To grow,
I
we
think.
can grow a little bit. Let's take that
We can room to grow.
That's when you know people are uncomfortable. It's okay.
Good.
So you're hosting or no?
I am hosting this week, and then I will be featuring for Robert Kelly the end of February.
Well,
At
do
the
me a
Improv.
favor, because I haven't seen him in a long time. If you could just tell him that if he dropped to his knees, I still wouldn't unzip for him. Michael Albanese is going to be with us for the morning show with EVH.
Very
And
excited.
by the way, I don't want people to think this is the morning show. It's not the morning show. This is just, it's very relaxed, and it's us talking. The morning show will be formatted and all that kind of good stuff and feel just like a morning show. Ask Eric Anything is meant to be loose, and that's the way that I just don't want people to think, oh, there's going to be more of this. It's not. We're going to do a radio show, and this studio will be all built out. Greg Russ is over there, and you want to put the camera on yourself real quick and say, hey, how you doing?
Hey.
What's your Twitter? How can we find you
I
online?
don't have a Twitter.
Oh, that's right. You're cool.
He doesn't have a Twitter.
For
He
2
doesn't-
weeks, I had a Twitter. I only tweeted about sandwiches, but I got bored. I bored myself, so I
Gotcha.
just stopped.
And do you have a Facebook or no anymore? Did you
No,
get?
that's gone too.
You got rid of Facebook.
It's the great. It's refreshing these days. I don't think you realize that, but you want to impress people. You're not on the internet.
You want to impress people?
Yeah, it works.
I'm impressed.
Refreshing is the
impressed
word I've heard.
The
quite often.
internet's not.
That's refreshing.
The internet
Is that what
ain't
they
gonna
say to
stick
you,
around
Greg?
Anyway.
What do they say?
They say that's refreshing.
Really?
Yes,
That's remarkable.
Who's they?
one person.
Yeah.
One person said refreshing.
They were just taking a sip of lemonade.
He doesn't have Facebook. He doesn't have Twitter. He travels a lot. There appear to be killings in those areas. I don't know. Anyway,
Whatever. Does a good
he's a
job.
mysterious dude. He used to be Decker. He's not apologizing for it, although he should. Greg Russ, Michael Albanese, Autumn Fisher. I'm Eric Von Hessler. This has been Ask Eric Anything Trio, number 3, Twa. And we will talk to you soon on, when we're going to do it again? Next week, sometime. We'll do it again. Remember, the first, I'm the greatest at wrapping things up, aren't I?
Yeah.
I know.
The
I feel like
first,
you need to-
you were there. I was there. Right. I was there, and I talked past the post.
How do people give you? How do people make donations? How do people find you? You need to give all this information.
Patreon.tv or patreon.com.
You
Go
should
check
make
it out.
.com. No one's gonna remember .com.
Patreon.com. Go check it out. Eric Von Radio. Take a look at it. Are there people who care enough to be invested in this and become business partners with me?
Sounds like a
and
challenge.
Make great radio? I think it should be a challenge. Everybody bitches
You
about
need to
corporate.
dare. I dare you to go
I
donate.
dare you to give to patreon.com.
You're so mean.
Oh, yes, I wanted to say February 11th, not February 3rd, is the first show of the morning show with EVH. I want to make sure we get that out there. We're going to have a lot of great shows for you. And have yourself a great day. And I thought I was going to have some kind of way to.
my
I want to have like a thing. I
You
want
do
to
have a
like
thing, and we're going to save it for the 11th. Come
Oh,
on. We can't give
that's
them
right.
everything.
Hey,
Yes.
tune back in to
see the thing.
to see the thing.
Take a Valium pill, people letting you go, from the memory go. But it takes more than this to make sense of the day. Yeah, it takes more than milk to get rid of the taste. And you trusted to this, and you trusted to that, and you saw it all come. It was waving the flag of the United States of calamity. Hey, after all that you've done, boy.